Hi everybody, welcome back. Now before we get into what the video is really about, you remember when we did a video talking about how the outside kitchen had this big air gap that was letting the hot air from the outside come in, or during the winter time would let the cold air come in through our cabinets right here. Well, we took care of that in that video, and I'll leave that link up above me. But anyway, there was a little piece there that I didn't think about. So in that video, we found out that the duct that goes from our propane furnace that heats up this inside area, since winter is coming, I had to replace that duct. Well, I replaced the duct with a much firmer, sturdier duct. And I didn't think about the fact that all that hot air is going to be going through it and it's not insulated. So I got this. We're going to insulate that up. And then we're going to get into what the video is actually about, which is talking about some of the things that you need to pay attention to because winter's coming. I don't want to put my camper up for the winter. I want to keep camping. So some of the things that I like to pay attention to and some of the things that I have to keep me warm and keep everything safe. So stay around, don't leave me, because we're going to get into that very shortly. Here we go. Alright, so if you're anything like me, I don't want to put my camper down for the winter. I want to keep camping. Now, where I live, which is around the Virginia area, it doesn't always get that cold. Well, it does. It'll get below freezing, but it's not like way up north. But anyway, so it does get cold enough that we need to manage some things. So what I want to talk to you about today is things about water hose, your furnace, propane, electrical management, and if you have one in your RV like I do, an electric fireplace. I gotta go out the shed here real quick and I gotta get the water hose out so I can show you guys. So hang on one second. So one of the first things you're going to want to get yourself is a heated water hose. It's not your standard everyday water hose. This water hose actually has a jacket around it, and inside of that jacket is an electrical mechanism in there that actually keeps the hose from being able to freeze. Another thing that you're going to want to get yourself is a heated electric tape. This heat electric tape actually plugs into an extension cord and you can wrap it around anything. Now, we were out camping last year and the water spigot itself at the campground tried to freeze up. We took that out, wrapped it up, plugged it in, and had no more issues. So you're going to want to get those two things so that you don't have any water freezing from the outside coming in. The next thing you're going to want to do is check on your propane tanks. My propane tanks here are 30-pound propane tanks. Now, you can go back and look at the video. They used to be 20-pound propane tanks, but I upgraded to two 30-pound propane tanks. But you're going to want to make sure they're full because you're going to want to use your furnace if it gets really cold outside. So make sure that they're full. We have a U-Haul down the road from us. We just take it right on up there, get it filled up, bring it back, put it back on our camper, and we're good to go. But you're going to need to make sure that they are full so that you have plenty of heat. And we'll get to the furnace right about now. All right, so my furnace is located behind this panel right here. It's a propane heated RV furnace. What happens is that propane heats up this reservoir and the air passes by, the air gets hot, comes out of the vents as hot air. Now to turn on the furnace to start making heat, I'll go to my thermostat, turn it on to heat, and then the furnace, depending on what the temperature is inside of your RV and the temperature you set the thermostat to, then it will turn on and start making heat for you. Now the way it does that is it uses a 12-volt system to ignite the fire. The fire from the propane, again, goes around the furnace and spits out hot air for you. Now a quick forewarning about turning on your furnace. If you're a newbie and you've just bought your RV and you've never turned on the furnace before, make sure you open up all the windows and the doors and all that before you turn it on. The reason is because from the manufacturer, they use oils and stuff like that to coat it so that it doesn't rust or put it together or whatever they're doing with it. But all that stuff's going to try to burn off. It's going to come out of your exhaust vents, and it's going to smoke up a little bit and set off your alarm. Believe me, I know, I did it. So just make sure you do that if you're using it for the first time. And if it's not your first time, but it is for the first time for the season, it might not be a bad idea to do it then anyway. Another option that we have in our RV is the electric fireplace. Now we call it a fireplace, but there's no fire in there. It's nothing more than an electric heater, but it looks pretty nevertheless. By using this, we don't have to burn up as much propane from the furnace. Now that being said, that means that you're actually plugged up at a campground somewhere so that you have electricity to be able to run it. That brings me into another point. You're using electricity. Depending on how much power you have, if you have a 30 amp or 50 amp and other things that you're running in your RV, you want to be careful because this thing pulls about 15 amps or so. So like for me, my RV is a 30 amp RV. If I'm running this thing and I'm getting about 15 to 17 amps off of it, it doesn't leave me a whole lot of room for using other things like the microwave and stuff like that. So just keep that in mind. And if you want to know how we monitor that, yet again, we have a video for that too, and you can see a link to that down in the description. Alright, so those are a couple of quick things that we do to make sure that we're going to be warm wherever we're going. Now, it hasn't really turned cold here yet. It may have turned cold for you, but it hasn't really turned real cold here yet, but we got to get prepared for it. So those are a few items that we take care of to make sure that we're going to stay warm wherever we go camping, because we are going to stay camping in the wintertime. So if you're out there and you're camping in the wintertime and you have other suggestions, or you have colder weather than we may have here, and you have other ideas or things that you do, please share those down in the comments below so that all of us can learn from you as well. In the meantime, enjoy your RV, enjoy the winter camping, and until the next time, God bless.